So very hearty welcome to this very cozy and joyful gathering, and welcome to the Facebook Live broadcast on conscious collaboration. My name is Arun Wakhlu and I'm part of the organization called One Wholesome World Foundation for Peace and Compassionate Leadership, Pragati Leadership, and also Pragati Foundation, but my heart really belongs to you. It's one with you, and whatever work we are all doing to co-create a beautiful world, that's where my heart is. So delighted to be here with you. And we are going to today spend a little bit of time looking at what are some of the examples of conscious collaboration, what are some of the things one has learned about it, and how we can work together to co-create a world that works for all. Yeah, so very hearty welcome and absolutely delighted that you're here with me this evening. We will spend a little bit of time, maybe 30 minutes on my sharing, and then I'm very happy to have a question and answer session with you. And some of you may also want to share. And my host and colleague, Sean Pereira, will also be monitoring the questions from Facebook, and I'll be looking at what's happening on Zoom, and we will together respond to your questions. So welcome everyone, and let's begin with a little look at what's happening on the planet. I think if we look at Mother Earth as Mother Gaia, today she is not in a very happy state of health because there is fragmentation, there is climate change, there is COVID, and a lot of other things that are really happening. I mean, in India, we've seen how many people have lost their jobs, how many people have had to suffer because of no livelihood suddenly and walk back to their villages. Many people have passed away. Health and fear is stalking everywhere, the United States, Europe, and I heard that in the United Kingdom now they're talking of a new strain of the virus. So fear is rife, problems are many, and the good news is, the very good news is that all the knowledge, all the people, all the resources, every single thing we need to create a world that works for all post-COVID is available with us. Everything is there. The money is there. The people are there. Wonderful people like Bharat Patel, NP Singh. Many of you who are here today are all beautiful Jugnus, people who have the spirit and the patriotism and the love and compassion in your hearts to make a difference. But what is needed, friends, is collaboration and conscious collaboration. Now, what that means and why conscious collaboration, I'll come to in a minute. So let me share with you a little bit of statistics. Hunger and malnutrition in India, that's our nation. In India today, we find that we have almost every single day, about 800 children, 820 children are dying of hunger and malnutrition. That's about 3 lakhs a year. 3 lakhs a year, way, way beyond what COVID has done. Every day, just imagine, friends, just put your heart, 820 children are dying because there's not enough food to eat. Beautiful children who could have grown, who could have done wonderful things, are dying. And this is the country, this is the same nation, friends, where the Moringa oleifera tree can grow very, very easily. Now, my friend NP Singh, who's in the Philippines, would probably recognize that this is the world's most nutritious vegetable. It is prolific in India. It grows prolifically. You stick a stick in the ground and it grows. And the leaves are ultra nutritious. Now, if we work together to bring Moringa oleifera to every single child, every single village, every mother, if the government and NGOs and all of us leaders work together to make it happen, we could banish malnourishment in no time. It would be very easy, but we have to collaborate. We have to consciously collaborate for that. Another piece of statistics, In the same nation where 820 children die every single day for want of food, 40% of the food that we produce is wasted. 40%, friends. That is as much food as Britain eats in 1 year. Everything that UK eats in one full year is wasted in India. It's wasted, just goes down the drain. So the farmers are working very hard. Suicides are happening, problems are happening, but 40% of food is wasted. And the value of that, the rupee value of that is 92,000 crores. 92,000 crores worth of food is wasted every single year in India. Again, can we do something? Can we make a difference? Yeah. So I'm going to tell you 3 stories now about how conscious collaboration can happen, how we might be able to do something. And from these 3 stories, we will then see what are the few learnings, what are the few tools or tips that we can take to really go forward in conscious collaboration. So here we go. First story is really, okay, before I come to the stories, one small thing, it all starts in the mind, friends. The absence of collaboration starts in the mind. It starts with fragmentation in the mind. My thinking starts thinking in boxes, national boxes, gender boxes, skin color boxes, nationality, religion, orientation, whatever it is, political thing. I'm from the right, I'm from the left, I'm from this party, I'm from that party, I'm this caste, I'm this nationality. And then you find that the same thing in our thinking manifests in the world. And the same old thinking of boundaries and boxes will lead to the same old results. It's not going to change, because it's only when our thinking changes, it's only when the inner work begins to expand, it's only when the inner work begins to transcend these boundaries and we come home to something beautiful, something whole, something complete, only then can the outer work be significant. Otherwise, without that inner shift, away from these boxes, there can be no outer change. Yeah. So you can call it the ego. You can call this little box that I'm in the ego, the false I, enveloping goodness over beautiful, beautiful possibilities, but blocked by the ego. It's almost like if I say it's dark in here, there's no light in here. That's not true. There is light. It's just that my eyes are covered. And what covers the beauty and wholeness of each one of us is really this barrier called the mind, the barrier that keeps us boxed into different identities, different classes, different categories. And the challenge, friends, for conscious collaboration is, how do we come out of this? How do we break free from these prisons that have been created? Let me tell you 3 stories. There is possibility. I'll tell you 3 quick stories and then look at the tools. A man called Kiran Gandhi and I in Jamshedpur, we were working together in Tata Motors, Jamshedpur, and about 28 years back, we had this idea that teachers need to learn some of the tools of human resource development, and teachers need to talk to each other and so on in education, because education today is society tomorrow. Yeah. And it is only schools, reinvented schools, that can create a new nation. Today, friends, after 28 years, when teachers got talking to each other, the schools in Pune, for example, beautiful schools in Pune, the principals were not talking to each other. The schools in Pune, the elite schools in Pune, and the Zilla Parishad schools in Maharashtra, teachers were not talking to each other. Right? So we created this movement of conscious collaboration. Come together, listen to each other, listen to your inner voice, listen to your heart, listen to the divine calling in your heart, and come together. Today, I'm very happy to share that 500-600 schools all over India doing excellent work, sharing best practices, working together, are collaborating to make a difference. Recently, a school from Hosur in Tamil Nadu said, we want to talk to a school in Kashmir. We want to get to know each other. The children want to share about Tamil Nadu and they would love to learn about Kashmir. So that is happening on the 23rd in a few days. So what I'm saying is a huge movement, and many of our friends here, Bharat Patel and a few others might know, a huge movement has started off, which started off as a tiny seed, which Kiran Gandhi and myself had, and then of course many teachers, Malti Kalmadi, Rekha Shahani, Lakshmi Kumar, many teachers are with us now, with each other, not with us. They're with each other because they're saying, hey, let's create a new nation, a new world through new education. So this is story number one. Part of ETST in Kashmir, in a place which everyone says, violence and terrorism and all that, and the lady standing in the back near the door, Sumaira, she is one of the participants of ETST. She said, hey, let's get the teachers in Kashmir to talk to each other. So we have government officials, teachers sitting together in a circle, listening to each other with respect, with compassion, and finding hope and finding ways to move forward. So this is story number one. Story number two is between India and Pakistan. Again, the schools, ETST schools and Charter for Compassion schools in Pakistan said, hey, let's talk to each other. So I said, hey, we're having Zoom calls. This was before COVID. This was way before COVID. This was about 3 years back. We said, let us get the children to talk to each other in Karachi and the children in Pune. So they started talking to each other. Kalmadi Shamrao School, Jamshed Memorial School, Waldorf School, Orchid School. They started talking to each other. And the children, one of the girls said, but we are all the same. You're exactly like us. So I said, yes, beta, why are you thinking that we are not the same? She said, because we are told that Indians are cruel, they are evil, that they don't like Pakistanis, etc., etc. It was a huge eye-opener for her. And she understood that deep down, the same problems, the same issues, the same compassion that is there is also here, right? Amazing change. And incidentally, I'm happy to inform you that this is going to grow. We're going to do between Lahore and New Delhi, between Srinagar and Lahore, between Karachi and other schools in Bombay. This is going to grow. And it is collaborating from the heart, collaborating for compassion, for a new world. And one of the children said, and one of that young boy who was speaking with the mic, he said, we are going to write a new story because we're tired of this story of hatred and violence between our neighbors and nations, and we are going to write a story. And in fact, there is a seed of an idea has been born. We're going to convert Vaga border into Vahega. Vahe means the infinite Guru, and the children are going to celebrate at Vaga instead of all those marches and jingoistic kind of things that happen today. Story number two also has a very interesting feature. When the teachers and parents started understanding what's happening, they said, my God, we never knew this. Our children are so happy. We can't believe that we're talking to children in Pakistan. The teachers talk to each other and they said, this kind of collaboration can be a beautiful opportunity for expanding the vision of our children, developing them as leaders, developing them as global citizens. And just imagine what can happen for geography. A child in Kashmir is talking to somebody in Northeast. A child in Palestine is talking to a child in the other side, in Israel. And the children are innocent, pure-hearted souls. They don't bother about nationality and all that kind of stuff. So huge possibility out there in this thing. And I'm very happy to share with you that we're expanding this. We are growing this as part of Foundation for Peace and Compassionate Leadership. We are growing this. Story number three. We listened to 4 groups of young people from all over the world, 4 groups of about 30, 40 children. And they said that we said, what's on your mind, children? Well, young people, what's on your mind? They said, we don't seem to be included in decision making. Things need to change urgently. We are growing up really fast. We have empathy fatigue. Tech is both a blessing and a curse. And one of the things they said very, very beautifully is, we would love to come together. We would love to come together and make together a world that works for all. Now, how do you handle a situation where you have to work to create a world that works for all, and every single young voice in the world, every single youth in the world has to be included? How do you do it? You cannot do this without collaboration. You cannot do it alone. We can't, nobody can do it alone. So I'm very happy to inform you that the Charter for Compassion, which initiated this, is talking to service space. You may have heard of Nipun Mehta. We're talking to service space. We're talking to heartfulness, right? And also we will probably see how Rotary can be brought in, so that Rotary, heartfulness, service space, initiatives of change, the one that did ETST, and all of us together can make this happen. Because some people, heartfulness has a global network, initiatives of change has a global network, Rotary has a global network, they have youth wings, youth leaders. So if we come together, not for Rotary, not for compassion, but for the young people of the world, we come together for them, in service of them, miracles and magic can happen. So it is shaping well. We will keep you posted on what's happening. But the important thing is here, awaken to who we are. Start with self-compassion. Take action from this space of self-compassion, of love, of karuna. Don't take action from the ego, because the ego fragments, it divides, right? Again, that requires a lot of conscious awareness and action. So these three stories, I just want to draw, before I come to the lessons, I just want to spend a little bit more time on this little boxy thing called the ego. So it's nothing but a sense of self, an illusory or fictitious sense of self based on past memories and future thoughts, based on desires and future thoughts. That's all it is. It's a bird that flies on two wings, the past and the future, the past and the future. And the moment you're in the now, the moment you are in the now, you get rid of all this stuff of the guilt and grievances and sadness and bitterness and all the beliefs of the past and all the tensions of the future. You knock them out completely. You clear up the resistance and you're absolutely open like the pure sky of consciousness. You're present in the now. Now, this, friends, is a beautiful space from where conscious collaboration can happen. It's a very pure space. इसमें कोई रुकावट नहीं है, कोई resistance नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. There is just karuna and love and playfulness and creativity. And it's a very, very inspiring space. Very, very inspiring. There's huge amount of inspiration in this space, a huge amount of intuition in this space, a huge amount of peace. And notice there are no boundaries. This is a space, friends, that has no boundaries in it. There are no boundaries of religion. There are no boundaries of nationhood, no boundaries of political parties, no boundaries of organizations. It's absolutely pure. And it's hard to describe this, but I'm reminded of one of my teachers, S.N. Goenka ji, who taught us all Vipassana. He says, Dharam na Hindu Muslim hai, na Christian Sikh na Jain. Dharam chitta ki shuddhi hai, dharam shanti sukh chain. Dharma is not a Hindu dharma, Muslim dharma. No, that's not dharma at all. Dharma is the very foundation of life. The very life of life is dharma. And that's not Hindu, that's not Muslim. It's just pure, unbounded consciousness. It is purity. और उसी purity में सत्य है, dharma है, प्रेम है, karuna है, mudita है. And that's really what I'm talking about. And the reason I'm emphasizing this is because without that inner presence, without that inner connection, it's very hard to collaborate and be compassionate and be ethical. This morning, I was talking to a group of people in Patna and Chennai and many other parts on ethics and values and how do we have ethics and values? Well, ethics and values is part of life. It's natural. It's the most natural thing to be, is ethical and joyful and happy. But what happens is it gets overshadowed because we stray away from that purity and go off into all kinds of other egoic directions, non-integral directions. So, friends, one of the things I would like to share is pause. Pause often, pause often. Whenever we work in a team, whether it's the Annadata movement in Pune, where farmers, organic farmers, and people we connected together, we always sit in a circle and we are silent. ETST, when the teachers get together, we sit, pause, we sit in silence. Whenever we have to do youth conference, people from all over the world are getting together, we pause and we sit in silence. Because, friends, silence is neither Hindu, nor Muslim, nor Canadian, nor English. Silence is silence. Love is love. The sky is the sky. So, pausing and waiting and being conscious and present is very important to conscious collaboration. Mindfulness, you can call it mindfulness, कि अभी आप conscious रहो, कि now में रहो, मौजूद रहो, be in the now. So if a bird is chirping, I'm listening to the bird. If I eat something, I'm really eating it. And suddenly life becomes very, very beautiful, very different. This is consciousness. This is the practice of consciousness. When I'm walking, I remember that this body mind is 70% water, and the atoms and molecules in it are all vibrations. There's nothing solid there. There's just empty space. Each atom, friends, is 99.999% empty space. So the computer in front of you is empty space. Your body is empty space. And we're deeply connected. I'm connected to the trees. I'm connected to the earth, to the water. The water that is making up this body right now could have been part of other bodies. It could have been part of a lake or a river or a tree or a sheep or animal. I don't know. That's how beautifully connected we are, but we are not mindful. We forget this beautiful interconnected, this wonderful wholeness of life. So, can we be more mindful? Can we be more present? Can we be more silent and pure like a child? और ये कब होगा? When we practice pausing enough times. We practice pausing enough times. We practice meditation. Now, no matter what kind of meditation you want to do, please do something, whether it's Vipassana or heartfulness or Brahma Kumaris or Shri Shri Ravi Shankar or transcendental meditation or some other meditation, whatever it is, I'm not worried about that. It's all water. Finally, it'll all bring us to where my dear, dear, dear beloved master Ramana Maharishi says, it brings you to the self. It brings you to the silence of the heart. That's where all these pathways will lead, whether it's heartfulness or Vipassana meditation, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, or any other, it'll take us to the same place of purity, of peace, of possibility. Come home to that, reclaim that. Now, as far as the tools are concerned, the 4 tools which we had promised to share with you, right? So I'm going to share those 4 tools with you, and then we'll get into question and answer. Number 1, be joyful, be joyful. Choose joy all the time. Don't do anything. I have to do this. I have to change the world. Nothing at all. Don't do anything. It's as Yogananda Paramahansa says, the divine creator knows what's going on. You're not the only one who's going to change the world. You enjoy things. Be joyful, be playful. Because if you're playful and joyful, you're in touch with source. You're in touch with wholeness. And because you're in touch with wholeness, you will be not only joyful, but there's a sense of oneness, there's a sense of creativity. Right? So please be playful and enjoy. So if you want to collaborate with somebody, do not do it unless you experience ananda in your heart, unless your heart is singing and there is joy in your heart and playfulness and creativity. Do not do anything out of compulsion or majburi or I have to. No, you're offbeat. The way of life is joy and oneness and creativity. So that is tool number 1. Tool number 2, as I said, is listen to your heart. Listen to your heart, not only for inspiration. Be silent and listen to your heart, but also for intuition. अगर बाहर से मैं ट्यूशन लेता हूं तो वो ट्यूशन है. अंदर का गुरु जब ट्यूशन देता है उसको इंट्यूशन कहते हैं. दैट इज इंट्यूशन. या So, friends, when we sit together in a complex world where things are complex and all that, our mind is not enough. Believe me, even the most clever of minds is not enough to deal with the complexities and difficulties that we face. But when you are silent, the inner guru will whisper to you and tell you what has to be done. So let's listen to that when we are collaborating. If, say, I and Bharat Bhai are collaborating, we will sit together and listen to our heart. What is the universal oneness saying? If I am talking to Sri NP Singh कि ये मोरिंगा ओलिफेरा फिलीपींस में बहुत जबरदस्त इस्तेमाल होता है, इंडिया में कैसे ऐसे करें, we will listen to our guidance. Is this the right thing to do? Is it something that we must work on or not? Yeah. So that's the second tool. Yeah. So the first one is be playful, be joyful. The second is trust your intuition, trust your inner guidance, trust the inspiration of the heart. Number three, bring forward your gifts. See, all of us bring some gifts to the table. There's not a single person who doesn't bring some gifts, who doesn't have some strengths and talents. There is not a single aushad, there's not a single vanaspati leaf or plant which doesn't have some medicinal quality. There's no word, letter which is not a mantra. Everything is beautifully valuable in some way. But can we weave it together in a dynamic gift exchange? Can we weave the strengths together by saying, okay, I give you this and you give me this, and let's do a gift exchange of ananda, of giving and receiving, and weave it into a tapestry. And incidentally, the only difference between compete and complete is L. So L stands for let's link. Let us joyfully link. Let's listen to each other. Let us learn from each other. Let's leverage each other's strengths and let us love each other. I do not hesitate to use the word love because जब प्रेम की भावना है, करुणा की भावना है, तो क्यों नहीं हम collaborate करें? When we think compassionately about our children, about the youth, about the future, about education, of course we're going to collaborate. We have to. It's natural. Yeah. So this was the third tool, and of course, just a few other things. And of course, one other small thing is, please focus on having clarity when you weave things together. Who has to do what by when? What is the project? What are the people? What is the purpose? What is the process? Who has to do what by when? In conclusion, I just want to leave one or two thoughts with you, because in India, what is happening today is we seem to be getting into what is known as a downward spiral. Yeah. So, आप बताइए क्या है, duck है कि rabbit है? Okay, now you can put it in the chat box. Is it a duck or a rabbit? Put it in the chat box, and I'll see it there. What are you seeing? Yeah. Uh, Yes. What is it? So anyone? Yeah, both. So Bharat Patel is saying that's both of them. Rajesh is saying that's a rabbit. Okay, Rajesh is saying it looks, NP is saying it looks like a rabbit. Rajesh Gangwani is saying it looks like a rabbit. Okay. Does anyone? Yeah, so Sean is saying looks like both. Very nice. Kishore Sidwani is saying both. Okay, wonderful. Excellent. Exactly. Kishore is absolutely right. Kishore, lovely to see you here. It is both, friends. It is both. Rajendra Bendre is saying both. Bilkul sahi keh rahe hain aap. Now, I just want you to do a small experiment. If you look at this as a rabbit, the duck disappears. And if you see this as a duck, the rabbit disappears. You cannot see the duck and the rabbit at the same time. Please remember this. It's a very, very important point. Either you'll see a duck or you will see a rabbit. Yeah. Now just keep this in mind. In India, there are many, many, many good things that are happening today. Beautiful things are happening. Yeah. And at the same time, there are many things that are not so good that are happening. I mean, let's recognize that there are many things that are not good, but many things that are good. Now, the question is, please remember this: whatever I focus on will grow. Whatever I focus on will grow. Whatever I focus on will grow. But if I keep on harping on what's wrong with the nation, what is terrible about things, what's going wrong with us, how terrible we are, and we never think about the spiritual heritage we have, about the beautiful soil we have, about the beautiful examples of great, great farming and communities that are going on, the work with youth that people like Kishore Sidhwani, Bharat Patel are doing, or the wonderful work that is happening in pockets all over the nation. If we lose sight of that because we are focused on the duck and we don't see the rabbit, we are making a big mistake, friends. And I think one of the biggest barriers to conscious collaboration is we don't appreciate enough. We're not grateful enough. We don't see the strengths enough. And the reason why a cloud has a silver lining is behind the cloud is the sun. And Ag, as you would know from chemistry, high school chemistry, is silver. So silver lining तभी आता है क्योंकि बादलों के बीच में there is a sun. ऐसे ही हमारे देश में दिव्य प्रकाश, the beautiful qualities and vanis of saints like Sadhu Vaswani, of Osho, of Kabir, of Gorakhnath, Mirabai, you name it, Guru Nanak ji, अरे कैसे महापुरुष, कैसे संत फकीर लोग चले हैं इस धरती पे, उनकी वाणी मौजूद है, उनकी आवाज मौजूद है. So why are we focusing only on what's wrong with us? Why don't we say the divine core is in us? Why don't we appreciate the good things in us? Why are we not grateful for what is going well? So these thoughts will also help us in conscious collaboration, right? And believe me, friends, there are jugnus and jugnus and jugnus all over the nation. और अगर आपको लिस्ट चाहिए, मैं देता हूं. अगर आपको जुगनू की स्टोरीज चाहिए, go to Nexus of Good. Mr. Anil Swaroop, former Secretary Education Government of India, has created a website called Nexus of Good. Go to Nexus of Good. Sean will put it in the chat box. Go to Nexus of Good and suddenly you find, my God, go to the Good Stories of India, Better News India, hundreds of beautiful stories. Let us catch hold of the jugnus. Let us not try to change the world, but please catch hold of the jugnus and work with the jugnus, appreciate them and work with them. Use tools like open space technology to collaborate from your heart. We're happy to teach whoever wants to learn. Yeah. Use appreciative inquiry. Yeah. But finally, friends, it all boils down to choose action, because conscious collaboration to hum bol sakte hain. We can say all that, but finally, it boils down to choose action. And choose action from a heart which is not parochial, which does not limit you to any sanstha or limit you to any religion or nationality or anything like that. Choose action from the heart, from karuna, from a deep place of karuna. Let me just read a poem for you. I want to share this poem, one of my favorite poems by Rumi, Jalaluddin Rumi ki poem hai. And listen carefully, I'll read it very slowly. Define and narrow me, you starve yourself of yourself. Nail me down in a box of cold words, that box is your coffin. I do not know who I am. I do not know who I am. I am in astounded, lucid confusion. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Jew. I'm not a Zoroastrian. And I'm not even a Muslim. I do not belong to the land or to any known or unknown sea. Nature cannot own or claim me, nor can heaven. Nor can India, China, Bulgaria. My birthplace is placelessness. My sign to have and give no sign. You say you see my mouth, ears, eyes, nose. They are not mine. I am the life of life. I am that cat, this stone, no one. I have thrown duality away like an old dish rag. I see and know all times and worlds as one, always one. So what do I have to do to get you to admit who is speaking? Admit it and change everything. This is your own voice echoing off the walls of God. Friends, we are at a huge, beautiful crossroad in the history of the planet, history of our nation. If we can reclaim our oneness with life, if we can come home to the power and beauty within us, if we can come home to that, miracles will happen because miracles are already happening. This web broadcast is a miracle. The millions of neurons firing in your brain is a miracle. My body speaking right now is a miracle. Everything is a beautiful miracle. So let us reclaim this miracle and come home to this beautiful possibility of wholeness, which is all possible in our hands. But it requires joyful action now. And when we do that, we will move away from corona to karuna. We will move away from COVID to Covidya, learning together, celebrating together. We will come back home to love. And this love, friends, this oneness, this conscious collaboration, like children, all the time playing and collaborating together, will be the foundation of a new world. The old world will break open and a new world will be born. A, a world which we can happily, proudly hand over to children, spiritually fulfilling, socially just, environmentally sustainable. And this new world, friends, is what is possible well within our reach if we move forward with conscious collaboration. So thank you very much. Delighted to have, uh, you know, your presence and listening. And we have a good 20 minutes for any questions you may have or anything you may want to share. Please feel free to do that. Yeah. So please, questions are open from Facebook, from the people who are on this particular platform, Zoom. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have. Yes, please. I'm all ears, and Sean will help me to see what's happening out there on Facebook. And I'm very, very happy to answer your questions. So you can just unmute and ask if you're on Zoom, and otherwise, Sean will tell me from Facebook if there are any questions there. Yes, I'm all ears, eager to respond. So please feel free. And if you want to share something, please do that. Uh, Bharat, NP, Kishore, Rajesh, Sunil Kumar Singh, if you want to
Hi,
share some.
good
Yes,
evening.
Rajan. Yes, Rajendra. Unmute your video, please, so that we can also see you. Rajendra, would you like to unmute your video, please? Yes, yes, yes. Tell us.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you. Hearty welcome. Yes.
Yes, yes, that was a great session actually, and I think it is also at the right time. Yeah. So
Okay.
one thing I had to share was, you know, like you were, shifting our minds from Corona to Karuna. That was
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
nice. So one thing I found was even the Corona has, its own, teaching for us. I felt, uh,
Uh-huh.
there was this because I'm a techie, by my profession earlier,
Uh-huh.
where now it is something different. But here's something. So in a technical, a group of techies, I had not much to say. But
Yeah.
after they talked about a lot of technology, I said, look, here people, here's their almost a half life. It's a tiny life form. It didn't go to Stanford. It didn't have access to any supercomputers, quantum computing. It isn't even mobile fully. It needs us
Uh-huh.
to travel.
Right.
But tiny life has managed to get inside us,
Yeah.
figure out how to bind with my proteins, and
Yeah.
uses my own machinery to make copies of itself. So it has
Yes.
the capability of learning, which seems to be far simpler than us, but gets far ahead of us. So
Yeah,
here
yeah,
we
yeah.
are grappling to see, how we can deal with this tiny life form.
Sure, sure,
Then
sure.
we should probably have this. learning more simpler, like you just did in the last few minutes,
Yeah, yeah.
kept really simple. So if you could say something about how could we
Sure.
simplify our learning,
Excellent,
and
excellent.
keep
That's
our
such
life.
a lovely question, Rajendra. Beautiful question. I love that question. Thank you. So I think I would just say, I would just simply use the SURE formula, SURE. So number one is
Okay.
S is keep things simple. Keep things, don't talk complex things. Talk simple things. Tell a simple story. Have one simple visual. Have a simple thing. Because that way people will understand. Because if you see all the great teachers in the world, whether it was a Guru Nanak or it was a, you know, whoever it was, Gyaneshwarji or any great teacher will always talk in stories, in simple stories, because they have a meme, they have a little DNA piece, which like the virus has a DNA, like that the story has a little DNA in it.
Okay.
So keep things simple, simple stories. Number one, that way people will understand and unite. SU. They will understand and unite. That's you. They will remember and repeat. That is R. Remember and repeat. And they will execute and be enlightened. So this simple SURE things, simple stories, they will understand and unite. They will remember and repeat. They
Yes.
will execute and get enlightened.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So that's how it is. So sure, Rajendra's
Well,
lovely, lovely question.
yes.
The
Thank you so
inner guide told you the answer. I didn't, Arun Wakhlu didn't tell you the answer. The inner guide gave you the answer.
much. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Rajesh, you want to share something?
No, thank you, Arunji. It's always such a pleasure. This is probably, I think, the second or third time
Wonderful.
and every time you feel so inspired and after hearing you. I just wanted to ask you one conscious collaboration.
Sure, sure.
In today's world, everybody talks about collaboration, but it's almost in the sense of win-win.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
you're telling today us is that think of the larger good. So how
Absolutely.
win-win to the larger good? And if you could also, I know you tell beautiful stories. If you could tell us a beautiful story about conscious collaboration.
I will, I will surely do that, Rajesh. And that story will answer your question also. So there was a man, he came to a village, and in the village, he told a lady, he entered a house and he said, I would like some soup, please. I don't have any soup. So the lady said, well, neither do I. I'm sorry, but we are a very poor family. We don't have any soup at all. So he said, no problem. I have this magic stone. It's a soup stone. And you just have to put it in water. You boil the water and you get beautiful soup. So what happens then is she said, oh, is that so? You have a magic soup stone? He said, yes, I do have. Get the water, get the water. And she got the water. He put the stone inside and the fire was put on. And as is the usual thing in a village, she went to her neighbor, said, you know what? This fellow has a magic stone that creates soup. Come, 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 see what's happening. So word went around the village. And before you knew what's happening, a crowd had descended, men, women, children, all peering at this magic soup stone. And it's boiling, boiling. And said, he tells people, do you all want to have soup? They said, yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll get more water, put more water inside. And then after a while, he tastes a little and he says, oh, if only, there was a little bit, if we just added one or two potatoes into this, it would be even better. And the person, yeah, yeah, I've got potatoes, rushed off, got some potatoes. And after a little while, and everyone's excited, we're all going to get magic soup. And then after a while, somebody else had a little bit, the man had a bit of sip. He said, if there was a little bit of fat, maybe some little fat and maybe a few carrots, yeah, 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 no problem. I've got fat, got carrots. And like that, things went on getting into the pot. And before you knew what was happening, everybody had enough soup to have, made of potatoes and carrots and little pieces of fat and things which the whole neighborhood got. And they all had their bowls. They were delighted. He pulled out his magic stone, washed it, bowed down to the whole village, and he went his way. Now, the question is, what does this story tell us about conscious collaboration? Number one, it was not about him. It was not about only the lady. It was about a vision. It was a vision that the whole village will have soup. The whole village will have soup. It was selfless. It was selfless. It wasn't selfish, only me and my soup. The whole village is going to have soup. Number two, everybody got their little gifts in. Everybody got their strengths, right? So not only did they all win, but the whole community evolved and went further. So I think to answer your question, if we don't think in terms of me and you, so suppose you and I have to collaborate. If you say, okay, मिस्टर राजेश को क्या मिलने वाला है, अरुण को क्या मिलेगा, तुमको कितना मिलेगा, मुझे क्या मिलेगा, it's not going to work. But if we say, Rajesh, you bring your strengths forward, I bring my strengths forward, and together we're going to transform the lives of millions of people who don't have work in the nation today. We are in a different zone. We are in a different space completely. And that's where the magic of conscious collaboration happens, Rajesh. Right? Self-forgetting flow. There's a beautiful technical term for it called self-forgetting flow. When we forget ourselves, when we forget our narrowness and littleness, we suddenly expand. And that's where the magic happens, the real magic happens.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Yeah, most welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. Thanks for your question. Super. Any other questions you can still ask? If we still have time, you can ask some more questions. NP, are you in Manila right now? Where are you right now? Or are you in India?
Yes, sir. I came back in India in the month of August after staying for 3.5 years.
Okay.
But I'll still continue to operate. It's really, I'm very, very happy to be connected with you after a long time.
Excellent.
I still remember the program you have conducted for us.
Yeah, wonderful.
And, so, and of course, the great initiatives like connecting these young people from across the world.
Yes.
And bringing to lessons. And and also updating our knowledge, like about moringa farmers. I was there, I never heard about it. But I think, I don't know if we can bring it to India, that would be great.
It's already there. Incidentally, the Philippines are absolutely nuts over moringa. Since you're working in Philippines, you're connected with, if you find out about moringa, the Filipinos, they eat it for salad, for dinner, for morning, for breakfast, and they are fighting fit. Their health status is outstanding. So perhaps you can help to get some, but it grows in India. It grows very beautifully in India. It's called Sehajan in the north, Moringa, Sehajan, Shevga in Maharashtra. It's all over. It's there. Yes.
Yeah. So my small question for you is you have mentioned about the duck and rabbit story.
Yes.
And we can see only one, whether it can be duck or rabbit, but who can help us whether exactly it is duck or rabbit?
That's a lovely question. Sir, I'll be honest with you. This is a small gathering and intimate friends and all that. So the answer is, it is neither the duck nor the rabbit. Both of them are illusory. Both of them are illusions. अब सवाल ये उठता है, अगर दोनों डक और रैबिट इल्यूजन है, तो क्या मैं चूज करूं? What should I choose? तो मर्जी आपकी, आपको मूवी बनानी है, हैप्पी मूवी बनानी है, जॉयफुल मूवी बनानी है कि दुखी मूवी बनानी है? Yeah, so I'll tell you, I'll go back to my dear Ramana Maharishi. He says, everything is really a movie, right? All this is a movie. Jo kuch bhi ho raha hai, farmers protests and this thing and that, it's all a movie. Yeah. I'm not saying you shouldn't engage with the movie. Engage with the movie, but remember, it's a movie. Number two, you are the screen of awareness. You are the screen of that silent, peaceful awareness of the heart. Now, the third point is, NP, the point is this. Do you want to make a happy movie or a sad movie? मर्जी आपकी है. आपको दुखी मूवी बनानी है कि समृद्धि की मूवी बनानी है, कैसी मूवी बनानी है, आप बनाइए. Now, if you keep on focusing on what's wrong with us, what's terrible with us, what's not okay with us, you will make a sad movie.
Right.
But if you choose to focus on what to appreciate, what is good about us, what are the strengths we have, you'll make a beautiful movie. But never forget, both of them are movies. Both are unreal. Duck and Rabbit are both unreal, both illusory. But you have a choice to make a happy movie or a miserable movie. और एक चीज मैं आपको बताता हूँ, one person was walking on the road and it was a very rough road and there were many thorns and many kankar pathar the, and he said, oh, I wish this had a beautiful flat leather. इसमें अगर leather का layer होता या rubber का layer होता कितना सुंदर होता. It would be so nice if it had a layer of leather or rubber. And somebody told him, why don't you just cover your feet with rubber and leather? And then wherever you walk, it will be leather and rubber. So I think in India, NP, not only do we need conscious collaboration, we need a lot more appreciation, a lot more gratitude, a lot more focusing on what's going well for us, rather than cribbing, complaining, pointing fingers, blaming, and going down in a downward spiral of hatred, negativity, going down and down. We want to go get into an upward spiral. Joy, collaboration, abundance, creating miracles, making things happen. And we have the power, we have the potentiality. Kya nahi hai hamare paas?
Thank you very much.
Most welcome, NP. Most welcome. Look forward to seeing you sometime.
Sure,
Okay,
sir.
we have another 10 minutes to go and, 8 minutes. So anyone else, please feel free to ask any questions you may have. And Sean has put something in the chat box, which is the benefits of the moringa plant. Now, if you just want to share one thing before we get into the closing part, and that is, one of the things we have done is that many of us who care about creating a new world can be part of the movement. I'm going to request Sean to put it in the chat box. You can sign up on a website called onewholesomeworld.com. You can also have a look at Foundation for Peace and Compassionate Leadership. And the idea is, can we work together to make a difference? Can we work together for more peace, for developing Jugnu leaders, eye catalysts, for like solving this food wastage problem in India? I mean, 93,000 crores is a lot of money going down the drain when farmers are dying. Children are starving. 820 children are starving. Why should it happen when we have technology experts? We have all kinds of experts in India. Why does it have to happen? Right? So also the book, One Wholesome World, a beautiful book that my father and I wrote, you can download it for free on the website, which Sean will put into the chat box. You can download it for free, the whole book. If you want to take certain chapters, like if you want to take a chapter on healing or chapter on meditation, you can just download the chapter. So feel free to do that. Spread the word around. Let more people read the book, and let's be part of a movement. And when you sign up, we'll keep you posted. What are some of the projects we're working on? Where can you contribute? What are some of your gifts, and where can you come in? Sunil Kumar Singh, anything you want to share? Or Kishorji, anything? Or Bharat, anything you want to share?
Yes, sir. I would like to
Bharat, sure.
say, after a very long time,
Yes.
sir,
Please share.
and
Please
I'm
share.
listening to you, and lots of things are learning always. Say, as you told, sir, just now that it is up to individual to select whether rabbit or duck.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of this corona, during hard lockdown, I found that say it was very hard time for lots of people, and hardly we were doing anything and collaboration and all this. So I just experimented one thing. During those 3 months, I tried to talk to 180 persons, means daily
Right.
2 persons, those who were known to me but not in touch, means since last either since 3 months, 4 months, or a year, or 2 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
So I found lots of stories from the people that how they are say maintaining themselves, and utilize those stories to say counsel others, those who were in very bad shape during this lockdown. And
Very
so
nice.
it was a great learning for me, and it was say, to be very honest with you, uh, it was a source of living for me. Means
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
during
yeah,
that
yeah.
hard time, means
Yeah,
we are six
beautiful.
persons in the home, and say everyone was at home, say without any job, means without
Beautiful, beautiful.
anything. So
Excellent.
this type of means we can't say it collaboration, but somehow I tried to link myself with, and sir, you will not imagine what type of say problems people are
Beautiful,
having. Just
beautiful, beautiful.
my ears were lended to them. Just
Yeah, beautiful,
call
beautiful.
them and say what is going on, how do you do, and
Excellent,
how is
excellent,
there.
Bharat Bhai.
So it
So
was a
beautiful.
great learning experience,
Beautiful,
and
beautiful,
say
beautiful.
God
I mean,
bless all of them. And
yeah, so lovely example of compassion, lovely
yes, sir.
example of relating, reaching out. So, Bharat Bhai, when you even listen to someone,
Yes,
when
sir.
you calmly listen to someone, that is also great service, great
The,
service. Because
the
aajkal, there are very few people have the time or energy or the patience to listen. So you've
taught
done
by
great
you only,
service.
sir. It was taught by you at Panchgini to share your experiences. Means it was, say,
Thank you.
compassionate, empathetic listening part,
Absolutely.
and we were
Absolutely.
sharing stories with each other.
Yes,
Simply
yes.
replicated that part, and
Wonderful, wonderful.
so
Thank
I
you.
am
Thank you for
thinking
sharing.
whenever
Ah,
I am say listening to you, it may be capstone or say from any dais. I am always looking forward to listen to you.
thank you.
So
Thank you.
I
Bharat
think
Bhai, and
today I got meaning, sir. In the morning session, you told that Aman. So it was our personal conversation at Panchgini. You
yes.
told that you were Aman, but today I realized what is Aman exactly means. Aman, and
Man
so
is mind, Aman
yeah,
is
yeah,
no mind.
yeah,
Okay.
no
Thank
mind.
you. Thank
So
you.
Sadhu came back from the say sannyasi
Thank you. Thank
to
you so much.
society to serve the people, sir, to
Wonderful,
finish his
wonderful.
karmas. I am
Thank
feeling
you. Thank
always
you.
with you, and that is why I say you Guru, not
No,
sir,
no, no.
always.
A guru is within all of us.
Yes,
Kishore,
sir.
would you like to share something and then we'll
Very nice
close?
to
Thank
listen to
you.
you, sir.
Thank you, Bharat
Actually,
Bhai. Lovely, lovely. Thanks for your comments. Yes, Kishore ji, and then we'll close.
Firstly, it's absolutely great to reconnect with you, Arun.
Lovely to see you, Kishore.
It is. It's quite a coincidence, actually, that just uh, getting into my Sunday nap. I mean, nowadays almost every day is a Sunday, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but, to a Sunday nap. I was just browsing through my mail, and I found a notification about a friend of mine in Germany whose birthday it was. So I went to
Okay.
LinkedIn and
Uh-huh.
I wished him, and then I saw the post from you, and I immediately
Oh.
registered. I think just an hour or so back before
Oh,
that.
how nice. How
Yeah, well,
nice. How
it's
nice.
fantastic. I'm still absorbing whatever gems you have distributed to
Yeah, yeah,
us
my
today, as
pleasure.
usual,
My pleasure.
and
Thank you.
it's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This as this lockdown in the last few months have taught each one of us so many different things to
Yes,
do.
yes,
So
yes,
I've
yes,
also
yes.
been reading a lot on spirituality and all. You seem to have absolutely the pulse of it, absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And you
Thank you.
put it so beautifully in
No,
your
no,
story.
thanks. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Yeah, so
Kishore. And
thank you for connecting with us through this
my
platform.
my pleasure. And this is part of a series called Conscious Conversations. And in future, we will have more such things. So if you want to kind of receive it, there's Sean has just put something on the for Twitter and Facebook. You can just click on that and kind of join it. But and let us know if you would like to receive intimation about further conscious conversations. We will try to make it more interactive as we go forward, and then we'll take it further.
Very much so. In fact, while I was listening to you and not following your principle of being in the now, I sent a message to my earlier friends whom you have met in Atlas Copco that I'm listening to
Yeah.
Arun Wakhlu.
Oh, how nice.
I'm going to send you a
Excellent.
link where you can
Excellent.
join and listen to it.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Good. So thank you so much. Really, really grateful to all of you for joining. Kishore, Rajesh, Bharat, and of course Sunil Kumar Singh, Rajendra Bendre, uh, Rajesh Gangwani. Thank you so much for joining. We'll be in touch with you, and all good wishes. Have a lovely evening. A very happy New Year to you. We'll have the next one on 2nd January. So have a great, great New Year and all the very best.